الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين أما بعد باب ما جاء في خاتم النبوة حدثنا قتيبة بن سعيد قال أخبرنا حاتم بن إسماعيل عن الجعد بن عبد الرحمن قال سمعت السائب ابن يزيد يقول رضي الله تعالى عنه ذهبت بي خالتي إلى رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم فقالت يا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إن ابن أختي وجع فمسح رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم رأسي ودعا لي بالبركة وتوضأ فشربت من وضوئه وقمت خلف ظهره فنظرت إلى الخاتم الذي بين كتفيه فإذا هو مثل زر الحجلة أو كما قال. This chapter is about Khatam al-Nubuwah, seal of the prophethood. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he had into the first chapter there was one word that bayna katifayhi khatamun nubuwah, between the two shoulders mubarak of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam there was one piece of blown flesh, and that was the seal of Khatm al-Nubuwwat. That was the mark of Khatm al-Nubuwwat. Ulama, they have discussed that some ulama, they went with an opinion that there was something written. According to some ulama, it was written that Muhammadur Rasulullah. On that seal of Nubuwwat, it was written Muhammadur Rasulullah. And according to another riwayat, Sir fa'anta mansurun, it was written that go wherever you go, you will be aided. You will be divinely aided. But when it comes to what was written, Shaykh Zakaria Rahmatullah Alayhi writes that it is not proven by authentic riwayat. It is not proven by authentic narrations. Otherwise, these two things ulama have discussed, that it was written Muhammadur Rasulullah. Like Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he used to wear that ring, and in that ring, three words were written: Allah on top, Rasul in between, and Muhammad at the bottom. Muhammad Rasulullah. So that was the ring Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to wear, and whenever and wherever they wrote letters to the emperors of the world by Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So at the end of that letter, it was suggested that special chapter will come. That special chapter will come. So Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to stamp with that ring. So that was written Muhammadur Rasulullah. So here too, on that seal of the Khatm al-Nubuwwat, according to one opinion, it was written Muhammadur Rasulullah. Or according to another opinion, Sir fa'anta mansurun. Wherever you will go, you will be aided. You will be divinely helped. And that is what was the two different opinions. So this first hadith sharif narrated by Ja'ad ibn Abdurrahman, he said that I have heard Sa'ib ibn Yazid radiyallahu ta'ala anhu saying that my auntie took me to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. My auntie took me to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and she said to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that, "Oh Habib sallallahu alaihi wasallam, this is my sister's son, and he has got pain." Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam took me, he said, my auntie took me to Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and she said that this is my sister's son, and he's got pain. So, فَمَسَحَ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ sallallahu alaihi wasallam رَأْسِي, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam wiped his hand Mubarak over my head. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam wiped, he made masa of my head. He was like you put your hand over the head of small child out of love, out of affection, out of that special tendency. So that is what Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam placed his hand Mubarak over the head of Sa'ib radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, wa da'ali bil barakah. And then Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam made dua of the barakat. Auntie took him to Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam complaining pain, that my sister's son is in pain, so make dua, ya Rasulullah. So Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam placing his hand Mubarak over the head of Sa'ib radiyallahu ta'ala and making dua. And then وَتَوَضَّعَ, and then Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam made wudu. فَشَرِبْتُ مِنْ وَضُوئِهِ, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam made wudu, and I have drank from the leftover water of the wudu of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. From the water where he made wudu from, I drank from that barakatful water. Now, on this word also, there are two interpretations. One, that Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam is making wudu, and whatever water is falling off from the body Mubarak of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, from that water I drank, according to one interpretation. And according to another interpretation, that water which was used, for the wudu of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I drank from that water which was taken for the wudu of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I drank from that water. So both ways, nothing wrong. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we firmly believe that whatever was connected to the body Mubarak of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, everything was pure and pak and tahir and honorable. So Sa'ib radiyallahu ta'ala, he is having this barakat. Nabi sallallahu is placing his hand over his head. Nabi sallallahu is making barakat, dua of the barakat. Nabi sallallahu is blessing him, and then Nabi sallallahu made wudu, and from the leftover water of the wudu, he said, I drank from that water which was touching the body Mubarak of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I drank that water. وَقُمْتُ خَلْفَ ظَهْرِهِ, and he said, I was standing behind the back of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is relevant to the chapter. Chapter is about that seal of Khatm Nubuwwat. So he said, I was standing at the back of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. فَنَظَرْتُ إِلَى الْخَاتَمِ الَّذِي بَيْنَ كَتِفَيْهِ. So I saw that mark of Khatm Nubuwwat which was there between the two shoulder Mubarak of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. فَإِذَا هُوَ مِثْلُ زِرِّ الْحَجَلَ. That seal of the Khatm Nubuwwat at the back of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said it was equivalent to the egg of pigeon. It was equivalent to the egg of pigeon. That's how that flesh Mubarak, that body Mubarak, it was little blown up. So it was equal to the egg of pigeon. So that is what I saw. I was standing at the back of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and I had opportunity to see the seal of Khatm Nubuwwat onto the back of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So here, Sa'ib radiyallahu ta'ala, we should remember like, Abdullah ibn Zubair radiyallahu ta'ala, he was the son of Zubair ibn Awwam radiyallahu ta'ala. He was the son of Asma bint Abu Bakr radiyallahu ta'ala, and he was the first baby born into the families of Muhajirin. After Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Sahaba migrated from Makkah Mukarramah to Medina Munawwara. So when they came to Medina Munawwara, the Jews of Medina Munawwara, they used to say and they used to tease that we have done such black magic to the Muslims of Makkah or to the Muhajirin of Makkah or to these Makkans, that now they will have no children born. They will have no children born. We have done that black magic. And after that, Abdullah ibn Zubair radiallahu ta'ala, he was born. So when he was born, Sahaba, they all became happy. And he was known throughout the history. Why? Because see, this was the background. That Jews used to say that now you will have no children born. And then first child was born. First baby boy was born. It was Abdullah ibn Zubair radiallahu ta'ala amongst the Muhajirin. So he was taken to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, blessed him. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam blessed him. One baby was taken to Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they do tahniq. Tahniq is sunnat. Any children used to be born into the lifetime of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they used to take that child to Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam will chew little bit of the date, little bit of the khajur, and little bit Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam will place that piece of khajur or that chewed khajur onto the palate of that baby. That is called tahniq. That is called tahniq. So one baby was taken to Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and when Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, placed that piece of khajur, piece of date, so he started sucking that baby. So Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, these Arab children, they love khajur, they love dates. So that's how Abdullah ibn Zubair radiallahu ta'ala, he was also taken to Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam blessed him. And Abdullah ibn Zubair radiallahu ta'ala, he was one of the very bravest person. He was one of the bravest person. He became martyr. He became martyr into the time of Hajjaj ibn Yusuf. Hajjaj ibn Yusuf, one of the biggest zalim amongst the Muslimin at that early days of Islam. So in his time, Abdullah ibn Zubair radiallahu ta'ala became shaheed, and his father also, Zubair ibn al-Awwam radiallahu ta'ala, he was also a very powerful warrior. He was very brave person. If you remember, I had shared before that when we were gone into the Topkapi Museum, so there was swords, and it was written that swords of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, swords of Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala, sword of Zubair ibn Awwam, sword of Ammar ibn Yasir. So where there was the name of Ammar ibn Yasir radiallahu ta'ala, there was a small sword. We requested to the person who was in charge that Ammar, when it comes to the riwayat, Ammar radiallahu ta'ala, sometimes he used to have two swords in two hands, and he used to use one of the very weighty swords, and whichever line Ammar will go in radiallahu ta'ala, he will come back safe, and he will cause a big loss into the camp of enemy. That's how he was brave. That's how brave Zubair ibn Awwam radiallahu ta'ala. So Abdullah ibn Zubair radiallahu ta'ala, he was also taken to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam when he was born. And here Sa'ib radiallahu ta'ala, according to the commentators of this riwayat, that he was not a big boy. He was a small child. Maximum he would have been 6 to 8 years of age at that time. So Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was taken to Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and Nabi sallallahu was made request that he is having pain. So Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam wiped his hand over the head of Sa'ib radiyallahu ta'ala. So we should remember, who had that honor, that Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam did some sort of affection, some sort of wiping hand or placing hand. So Sa'ib radiyallahu ta'ala is one of them. So he was taken to Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam made the dua of the barakat. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam made wudu, and from the left water of the wudu of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam he drank, or from the used water for the wudu of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam he drank, and he said that at that small age I remember that I was standing at the back of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and I could see that seal of the Khatm Nubuwwat onto the back of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, give us correct understanding of Quran and Sunnah, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, give us connection to obey every sunnah of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So this is the chapter about 8 riwayat, 7 to 8 riwayat in this chapter, and all these riwayat will be talking about that seal of the prophethood which Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam had. According to some riwayat, that it was there throughout the lifetime of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. But when Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam passed away, then it was no more. It was no more. Why? Because it was serving person, that this is the person, he is the last and final messenger from the whole chain of prophets, from the whole chain of messengers. So according to some riwayat, that went missing when Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam passed away. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us correct understanding of Quran and Sunnah. Subhanallah bihamdihi, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika, wa nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk.